one of the classes they prefer to play.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the defense coming out here from IDDQD, which, by the way, has been an incredibly formidable and scary defense on Dorado. We've seen it just do great things time and time again. We got Airnet Hulk on the Symmetra, Pluppy on the Junkrat, Coco on Reinhardt, the Bridgebup on the Lucio, Mendo Kusai on the Korean Chipsugen, rounding things out on the Zenyatta.
Yeah, this is a defense that has absolutely shut teams down on this map several times. Shut teams down on almost every map. We think about IDDQD as a good offensive team, decent team all around. Their defense is what sticks out to me. Offensively, to try to crack that, G2 is going to run Skipjack on Symmetra. Nox and Burix will both be playing Zenyatta. Likely will play Lucio, Taimu on Tracer, and Numlocked on Genji. So a very traditional flavor of the double orb.
Yep, so we're going to see how G2 runs this here, but yeah, as you mentioned, it's a traditional flavor of it, and I'm locked in Taimu. Taimu, of course, has pretty good Tracer, even though he's more known for his McCree and Widow play. Oftentimes you'll see him actually come out as Widow on the start of the map like this, but not going to be the case here. As G2 starts their move forward, take a look at Taimu. Taimu in the bowels of Dorado looking for the flank from the backside. Meanwhile, Numlock coming in from the exact opposite side. So we saw this coming up from Mix-Up actually the other day as well, sort of this flanking from multiple sides. Taimu in a bit of trouble, gets flashbang, is able to get out. And Numlock, first kill of the game, takes out Pluppy, so good stuff coming from Numlock as he's getting here on the Reinhardt. Reinhardt now in a bit of trouble. Taimu's still in the back, he's yet to be dealt with. Taimu takes out Coco. Mendo finally takes out Taimu himself, but 5v4 in favor of G2 as G2 moves forward here, and the real test will be getting through this next point. I mean, we've seen teams push up this far against IDDQD. It's getting through the courtyard that's oftentimes can be mission impossible.
No, but it's a really cool play just to take out Pluppy there too.
Numlock just got taken out.
What they did is they bullied Mendo off the top, so they got the McCree down, then they sent their Genji up top, who was able to take a really unexpected angle onto Pluppy and take him off the rooftops, who really captured that first area of the courtyard.
Yeah, and this is where teams really get stuck for a while. Now, that being said, it does take longer to get your teleport up, and wow, Mendo just taking out Taimu and then some. Nice flashbang. So Mendo actually being the heart of the IDDQD defense right now. His McCree play has really come a long way in the last 2 or 3 weeks, I feel like. I mean, he didn't have a bad McCree before, but I feel like it's leveled up.
No, but early on when the move came about, I asked Mendo, I was like, who's a better McCree? Is it you or Taimu? And he said, Taimu right now, for sure. Yeah. Then he played a ton of McCree because he knew he had to get better at it.
And who knows, maybe it's still Taimu, but I think the gap is definitely closed quite a bit in the interim. Mendo takes out Burix, so kind of Mendo show so far. Taking a look at Taimu. Taimu does have his pulse bomb up. Pluppy takes out Nox. And G2 now getting stalled out here. I've just seen many teams get stalled out. Taking a look at Taimu right now. Taimu not deciding to go after Pluppy there. That can be a very rough go for Tracer. Chipsugen takes out Numlocked, and G2 kind of bleeding kills here. Not getting full wipe, but losing enough people that they can't push in. Pulse bomb gonna miss from Taimu as Taimu comes in from the back, and he's just gonna take a more protective position in the back and wait to come back in. Meanwhile, taking a look at Numlock coming in from the top. Does have his Dragon Blade up, likely is ready to drop Sound Barrier as well, so might see some offensive maneuvering, but look at all the defensive ults that are up right now, Hex.
Yeah, it's gonna be really hard to break through.
We have Sound Barriers coming up from both teams now. Taking a look at Mendo. Mendo coming in, Chipsugen and Taimu both making things happen. Coco with 2 kills there. Pluppy rounding out a 3rd. And as a result, G2 gonna get pushed back. And this is so hard to push through this point. This defense from IDDQD right at this archway it's so suffocating.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of par for the course for us. This is how we've seen IDDQD play.
I think Nox might have gotten taken out by a Fire Strike there, I'm not sure. But yeah, we're looking at G2 as they come over here. They do have Dragon Blade ready. They do have 2 Transcendences, so I mean, they can really hyper support Numlocked here as they move forward. It's just going to be a little bit variable as things go.
Yeah, I find it really interesting when teams just absolutely devote someone to the backlines to take out the teleporter if they're getting value out of that, because Taimu during the last engagement was in the backlines trying to deal with the tele.
Well, taking out the teleport is more valuable, and look at that, Taimu bombs Mendo. Here they come. Transcendence is out for the offense. Pluppy takes out Taimu, 5v5 right now. There is no teleport up. It takes longer to charge. I gotta think we're gonna be seeing a Dragon Blade any moment here. Both Transcendences have been used by both Nox and Burix, but look at this. Here comes Coco. Coco with a great charge in, going to do a lot of work, and as a result, a lot of people getting pushed back. We do see the Dragon Blade did come out for Numlocked here. And honestly, G2, they are making some degree of progress. So the teleport is back out, though. Here they come in. The teleport goes back down.
Yeah,
and Mendo was killed relatively early there, so taking a look here. Taimu now pushing forward. Mendo saying Raffle misclick, but hey, G2 able to get through the iron defense of IDDQD, and that's more than most teams can say in this situation.
Yeah, I mean, most teams actually don't even get to the first point against IDDQD on here, so we have a junk tire coming out from Pluppy.
I think after this tire lands for better or for worse, I think Pluppy might be switching off. We'll see.
He hasn't had the effect as Junkrat as we're used to seeing out of Pluppy, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, G2's been dealing with him reasonably well. I think Pluppy got plenty of value, but I think he might go Genji here, and yeah, there he is. The Genji is going to come out from Pluppy. This is pretty standard. We've seen this sort of switch up out of IDDQD pretty frequently. As now we see Mendo in the back, raising havoc as a tracer, switching off from the McCree that was on previously. Pluppy able to take out Taimu, so one down now for G2 as they try and push forward here.
Yeah.
And Mendo's being a real pest in the backfield right now.
They've transitioned to a mirror match too, and this is where their strength really lies, is in these open area fights, and they're just bringing it to them right now.
Look at that. For the harass finally does its job. IDDQD able to just collapse in and push out G2, and they are not. They're making G2 fight tooth and nail for every bit of terrain they get.
G2 has to be really careful here to not get spawn camped. We've seen IDDQD as absolutely fearless when it comes to pushing at this point on Dorado, especially. Mendo and Pluppy are fearless when it comes to just being on the front lines, constantly harassing.
And take a look at Mendo. Mendo's hiding here. He's looking for a pulse bomb. He's not even going in on Taimu despite the orb. He wants to land a pulse bomb in all likelihood. He's waiting. He's setting them up, Hex. Is it going to happen? There's the pulse bomb. There it goes. I think it landed a stick, and he takes out Burrick.
Yeah,
so nice stuff.
It also forced the other Transcendence out in a non-ideal position. A huge pulse bomb.
Yeah, and Numlock not be actually ready to do much with that Transcendence. No Dragon Blade coming out. He finds a teleporter of Internet Hulk and take that out at the very least. So, I mean, G2 handling that okay. They did get a pick off. Numlock coming out with the Dragon Blade, going to force out Transcendence of his own as he's trying to kill Lucian here, but the Transcendence healing just too much to actually get Dragon Blade kills. What's going on? Taimu, though, able to take out Mendo Kusai, because the thing about Transcendence is that if you have to do 2 hits, you won't kill. If it's a 1-shot, you'll kill. Meanwhile, Pluppy coming out with a Dragon Blade of his own, coming back in, is going to get taken out by Numlock, though. So G2 now starting to hold firm, winning some of these battles, making things more in their favor. Burke, so will get taken out. And look at this Internet, or Symmetra play from Skipjack, doing decent work there. And Taimu with a double kill, starting to make some momentum as Tracer has Chipsujin in his sights. Chipsujin is a hard kill, though, and that's why Chipsujin takes out Taimu.
Yeah, I've noticed this super gutsy play in Symmetris with turrets up too. If they, or with teleporters up rather, if they die, that really hurts their team. But they've been so good about staying alive and
Burrick just got 2 kills as Zenyatta, so good stuff from him. And Chipsujin gonna have to go back. I'll say this, by the way, I've talked with many people. There's a lot of people in the game right now that consider Chipsujin one of the hardest, not the hardest Zenyatta kill in the game. He is, whatever he's doing on Zenyatta just makes him so hard to deal with.
Right.
That being said, the momentum from G2 is real. They're able to push to this next point. 3:06 left on the clock. And G2 making a case now, as I don't think we've seen anyone get this far in on IDDQD in a while. I think, I'm trying to think, someone probably did recently, but their defense has been very solid here for the most part.
Well, Mixup was able to do some things against them. They were able to slow them down, at least on offense, but not necessarily, able to break through their defense.
Yep, Pluppy now getting in with the orb, doing work, of course. Pluppy, oftentimes known for going off, gets a double kill now as Genji going in, has Numlocked in his sights. Might have to back off just a bit here as G2 is starting to reform, but 2 minutes, 25 seconds left now for the G2 side of things. And G2 definitely has a shot. I think it's easier said than done to push through this last point. This is one of the harder points in the game to push through. Maybe why we see a little bit less Dorado than we might expect nowadays, just because this last point is troublesome, but...
Yeah, it also seems to be a little bit troublesome, especially from this kind of composition, because you used to be able to see like a lot of Winstons and Pharahs take this high ground and really open up the map angles.
Yep. So we do see a defensive Transcendence coming out now from IDDQD. Dragon Blades are out as well. Pluppy with the Dragon Blade is able to take out Burrick, looking for a little bit more, is going to have to back off, but that's still 1 kill. 6-5 in favor of IDDQD right now on this push, but knocks him right back, kills Mendo. Mendo killed likely. 5v4 now in favor of IDDQD, and both teams getting their kills, but Pluppy probably gonna help seal this.
Look at this teleporter. Look at this offensive teleporter. It's so aggressive. It's in pack room on the right.
The offensive teleporter, I like it, and if you're gonna run the Symmetra with shields, you might as well get that. And look at that, 3 kills now coming up from G2 off the teleporter. Yeah. It's working out. Pluppy now has to go back and help his team. Taimu able to pick off Coco though, and now we see Numlocked and Taimu combining for a lot of pressure. Taimu takes out Pluppy, and good counterplay coming out now from G2 as they move forward.
Yeah, now the defensive teleporter is actually right across from the offensive teleporter. Meanwhile,
Yeah, but look at how much progress G2 is
Cart.
making. They're very close to potentially completing this map. Not saying OMG as Taifu doing even more work off that pulse bomb. Really good stuff coming from Taimu, and really just a Taimu show in general on this last point. He's really made his tracer work, and now they're very close to winning. Pluppy trying to save it, not going to be able to do it, so nice stuff coming from G2. They complete the map on IDDQD, and this is, you don't see that all that often nowadays.
No, teams really don't get to end against IDDQD in recent history, and you know, Pluppy's going to take play of the game here, but man, it's got to feel pretty good for Taimu, right? The game he had.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it was actually a little bit slow starting, but towards the end, Taimu really put together, was getting good tracer kills and all the rest, and honestly, both teams had their moments, as shown by Pluppy's play of the game there, but G2 brought it to IDDQD in a way that teams really haven't in recent memory.
You know, 9-10 is not like the fastest time ever on Dorado, but just being able to get past the first point I thought was an accomplishment alone for G2 based on how we've seen the defense play for IDDQD lately. Being able to bring it to the end in a reasonable time is pretty good.
Yeah, I think we were 1 second away from getting De-Illuminati just spammed in our channels, so there you go. Now that I said that, we might have it anyways, but we are moving on to the next round of Dorado here between IDDQD and G2, and G2 making a case. I mean, we've seen IDDQD set some really ridiculous offensive times, don't get me wrong, but you know, if you're a G2 fan, you have to feel pretty good about this thus far.
Yeah, definitely. I was just kind of thinking about Chips that you were talking about, and I think I don't see Chips on a lot of different supports. He's mostly been a Zen main. Maybe I can be corrected, and there's not a whole lot of people that I can remember just maining Zen. Maybe Cloud9's Adam, but I haven't watched enough of that. But I think also, you know, he's one of the better just straight up Zens, and it's interesting to watch people as their mains develop, and the respect that he gets from the community as far as his Zenyatta play is amazing.
In general, I think mains will be determined by the meta. I mean, say Zenyatta gets hit with the ye old Nerf bat and isn't worth playing. I mean, we'll see Chips-Gen on a Lucio, on a Mercy, whatever. And in fact, we have seen on Mercy before in the past as well, now that I think about it, so. You know, players might have their favorite characters, but they definitely roll with the meta and what teams currently believe to be the best.
Well, Overwatch requires that versatility out of people. I always think of Burix as a Mercy, and I think of Esper as a Mercy too, but as the support metas change, they have to adapt and play, and it's really gonna be a matter of, like, can you adapt and play if you're gonna actually stick on rosters too, because I don't think there's really room on an Overwatch roster across the board for someone who can only play one class.
Now, so take a look here at the G2 defense as it rolls out. We got Taimu on the defensive tracer, Numlocked on the Genji, Likely on Lucio, Burix on Zenyatta, Nox on a second Zenyatta, and Skipjack rounding it out on Symmetra.
Yeah, so they're running double orb on defense, something that IDDQD does not generally run on defense, but you know, it didn't work out for them last time. On offense, it looks like we were going to have a pretty close to mirror match. Coco and Chips are going to be on the Zenyatta's, Internet Hulk, of course, on Symmetra. Mendo will be on Tracer, Pluppy on Genji, and Bridgebup on Lucio.
And the Bridgebup, honestly, he doesn't get enough praise, but he gets so many kills as Lucio in these games, it's actually kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, speaking of another support main, Bridgebup's almost always on Lucio.
Take a look at this. Taimu going straight in, trying to get one of the Zenyatta's, almost does it, and does pick it up. That was what a strike coming in from Taimu in the beginning. Will he be able to get Chips-Gen? No, he's going to have to back out, but wow, good stuff from there. Burix able to take out Mendo. The card is moving in favor of IDDQD as it usually will do in the beginning, but that was still a nice opening salvo coming out from them.
Yeah, I just like that, you know, Bridgebup in this composition, he has to play tank, he has to play on the cart, and the fact he can stay alive and get kills one-on-one, it really helps IDDQD in this composition. It's part of it that we overlook too often, I think.
Yeah, so taking a look here, Pluppy able to turn the tables, does take out Taimu. That's 2 kills now for IDDQD as they move up. And what the defense of G2 has to be careful here. You want to hold them at the arch as long as possible. It's one of the best defensive areas in the game. If IDDQD is able to just get through here quickly, I think it bodes badly for G2 in more ways than one. This courtyard, it's where you buy a lot of your time on Dorado.
Yeah, that card is moving at a pretty decent clip.
Mendo with 2 kills right now. He is getting his own tracer momentum going. We saw what Taimu was doing earlier, and now Mendo getting in on the action himself. Pluppy has Dragon Blade ready to roll at any moment, and here they go. And yeah, Mendo moving on forward and really just pushing a lot of the G2 team back. And meanwhile, the cart is getting pushed at maximum speed.
Yeah, where they put down this teleporter or try to put down this teleporter is going to tell you about
how
the
Dragon Blade coming out from Pluppy as well. Pluppy gang speed boost up, running in, trying to kill Tracer, misses the last slash. Gets the Swift Strike, though, takes out Tracer, and now Mendo and Pluppy are absolutely on a ridiculous tear right now, Hex.
Yeah, they're on the hunt. This gets so dangerous for the other team. Skipjack unable to get that teleporter down in any place. I think he was a little indecisive, knowing, are we going to hold first, or should I put it second, should I put it third? And now Pluppy and Mendo going to last.
Yeah, the Pluppy and Mendo are just going super deep in. This has been the Pluppy Mendo show thus far. I think Numlock might have a Dragon Blade to say about it in a moment, but right now, Pluppy and Mendo are just in the back, and it is quite the showing thus far. And ults are coming up for the defense of G2, but they're just getting rolled over, and IDDQD is making phenomenal time at the moment. And we've seen this so many times in the past as well.
Yeah, at some point you just have to start grouping together or something, kind of like a pub, just because like you can't deal with these guys one-on-one. You want to take the chance to deal.
Here comes the defensive Transcendence coming out. Maybe we'll see a Dragon Blade coming out with it soon. I'm not sure. Internet Hulk and Mendo, though, with another pair of kills. And here comes the Dragon Blade coming out from Numlock, switching that as he has Internet Hulk on sights. Internet Hulk will go down. 1 kill so far for Numlock to make it 2 kills. Looking for a third. Might get it. Offensive Transcendence coming up from Coco. And now Numlock has to be a little bit careful. Can't fight people in the middle of that. We do see Taimu coming in on the Tracer. Again, a little bit of revenge play, if you will. And they're trying to hold off here, at least for a little bit. They don't want to go into the last point with, 6 minutes left for IDDQD, the cap, because that is just not ideal at all. Defensive Sound Bear is going to come out, and now G2 starting to stabilize a bit and pushing back the IDDQD offense.
Yeah, and I think they should try to push him back very far, actually. Internet Hulk just
look at this. He found the teleporter.
Yep.
Numlock find the teleporter right away. Meanwhile, though, Mendo with 2 kills was on 3 kills for Mendo Kusai. And this is just, we've been seeing Tracers on both teams just go on absolute tears this game. And really, I mean, what's not to love is Tracer. You're not really, the interesting thing about these comps is that you're not running into any real Tracer counters. You can actually just evenly fight people, and that's just having Mendo and Pluppy in the back get a kill each, and they're pushing G2 way far back at the moment.
What's not to love about Tracer and Tracer counters? Hilarious commentary by ZP.
Thank you. I get that you, oh my goodness, the bomb from Mendo takes out 2 people.
Yeah,
I know you don't like Tracer, but it's a world we live in. Mendo with a 3rd kill, he's just absolutely crushing the G2 team on this series. This is insane.
This is what we saw in the Creation King of the Watch the other day, is Mendo, once he gets rolling on Tracer, will hang out and...
Dragon Blade coming out from Pluppy here, not to be outdone by that last pulse bomb. Pluppy looking wildly for anyone to hit, but everyone's stuck in the spawn, so he's might just have to sell for Numlocked here, as Numlocked trying to buy a little bit of time. Not gonna die to Pluppy just yet, but the G2 team is just totally out of sorts right now. We do see a Dragon Blade coming out from Numlock. Numlock takes out Coco, trying to stabilize, and maybe we'll get a bit of time bought from G2 here, but that was a rough series of events with Mendo just all deep into things. Mendo hasn't stopped yet. I mean, he's still in here. Pluppy just picked up 2 kills. And they could even win on this point right here. Mendo looking for that extra kill, fighting out on Taimu. No, Taimu gonna shut that down. Taimu taking out Mendo in a serious fight. Wow.
They finally pushed it back. I thought losing Bergs there might spell the end for them, as he had Transcendence up, but now they are in a position to possibly stabilize. Bergs and Nox both with Transcendence, so at the very least they'll be able to stall out the cart. And now it looks like the team is getting back to rather the aggressive teleporter right underneath the cart in the subway.
Yeah, this is interesting. I mean, G2, at the very least, they're able to stabilize. A lot of teams there would sort of just get run over and it'd be GG to IDDQD, but they're buying themselves time. But they need to buy themselves a lot more time because they only have 4 minutes, 10 seconds left. Taimu, though, able to take out Coco. Taimu in the back has been making things happen in general. We see Mendo right now taking out the teleporter as he's in the back. Mendo and Pluppy combining in the back line for some kills themselves. Meanwhile, taking a look at Taimu. Taimu trying to stay alive. And this is just so much Tracer madness, but take a look at Pluppy. Pluppy able to get the double kill. Offensive Sound Bearer is up. IDDQD wants to end this here, if at all possible. Pluppy right now going after Taimu, not able to get him just yet. Mendo taking out Skipjack, and this is just non-stop action, but I think IDDQD might be on the winning end here.
Yeah, they might have reached the tipping point here, as they're just going to try to trickle in. A little late on the trickle in, actually. Maybe
defensive Sound Bearer, Lucio, one of the last hopes here, likely trying to stop the cart, and now everyone just sort of trying to buy time, but it's in vain. 3.5 minutes remain for IDDQD, and they are going to take map 1 with a lot of time to spare, and what can only be described as just a Tracer Genji fest of the highest proportions.
Yeah, of the highest caliber. Mendo's really been on fire as Tracer the last couple games. I just love how fearless he is when he plays Tracer, that he just... In a lot of situations, you see a Tracer retreat, he'll be discorded at the front line and still go for kills, and I think it catches people off guard just how aggro he can be on that hero.
Seriously. So, map 1 will be going to IDDQD. It's now going to be up to G2 to decide where they want to go next. Only payload maps are in the pool for those who missed our map draft. In fact, I don't think we ourselves missed a map draft, but Hollywood and Kings Row are the other 2 maps in the pool. And either way, I think G2 maybe brings in the Hollywood, just because we've seen Taimu do a lot of work on that map in recent memory. I wouldn't be surprised with Kings Row either, but my guess would be Hollywood.
Yeah, but when was the last time we saw a team lose, when was the last time we saw IDDQ give up first point to Hollywood? It's been a while.
It has been a while.
So it'll be interesting to see what comes out next. I love Hollywood, but yeah, I mean, as good as G2 looked against IDDQD, and let's not downplay that, they looked better than most teams have against IDDQD lately. IDDQD's offense steps it up too. It seems like whichever part of their game is struggling for that day, they pick it up on the other end, because we've seen their offense struggle in recent times, IDDQD's, and then their defense will just lock it down. So
I was just thinking here, you know what you need to combine for a winning game there? You need to combine Envious's defense with G2's offense. And then I think you might have had a winning set versus IDDQD there.
Yeah.
Or at least a winning Dorado.
Yeah, very possible. The Envious defense, of course, introducing a lot of maze to deal with the composition as well. But yeah, I mean, every time IDDQD starts struggling on offense, we're like, oh, all right, they're totally beatable. And then they'll lock down a point and never let a team capture. Or, you know, they're struggling a little on defense. Like, oh, well, that's a pretty decent time. And then they come through and blaze on it. It's like just... why can't they be weak on different aspects at the same day so someone could actually beat these guys?
Yeah, I know. You'd think it was like, okay, maybe a little bit of variety in regards to that, but IDDQD, I mean, they're solidifying themselves. I'm just interested to see who picks them up sponsor-wise, because sponsors have to be beating down their door and then some to bring on IDDQD. I mean... you know, whatever sponsor picks them up, you know, congratulations, you've picked up a good one.
Can you imagine the value you'd get as a sponsor out of that team? Just the amount of spam that they would throw down?
The problem is you pick up IDDQD and then you need to send Pluppy and Mendo Kusai to your HR department for education on how to deal with the public.
Yeah.
I'm only half kidding. I mean... I think some sponsors would get a little bit offended.
Yeah, no, on a serious note,
that's a Vico size.
They are divisive characters, I think is the best way to put it. People either really enjoy it and like it, and some people just don't like not necessarily the spam and the memes and the kebabs and everything. So there are varying opinions on IDDQD's character. I'll just say that and leave it at that. But there's not very much varying opinions on their play, and that's what I'm concerned with. They have still not lost a set in, I think, over a month now.
Yep. So actually, G2 right now asking members, like, what are the choices? So...
Oh yeah, Kings Row and Hollywood. So we're going to Kings Row.
All right.
Which we've seen a lot today. Another map that IDDQ's defense is insanely good on, and it all depends on if they can dislodge Pluppy on his Junkrat on the left side, which a lot of very good teams, and Mix-Up included, has failed to do and looked bad trying to do. A lot of times they'll send a combo over there to try to deal with it. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. Most often it does not. But Pluppy didn't look super great on Junkrat today. Died early on Dorado there. Didn't really stick on it too long.
I'll be honest, though, as far as like Pluppy goes, Junkrat on early point Dorado, I think, has had mixed value anyways in a lot of cases. I don't think it's a Pluppy thing. I think it's just Junkrat, where sometimes you see it do a lot of work, at other times it doesn't. I think there's something about the way that people flood on Dorado where sometimes Junkrat will do a lot, but other times he won't. Whereas on Kings Row, we see Pluppy do work on Junkrat basically every time.
Yeah.
So... it'll be interesting to see how things go out here.
It's one of those kind of small things that you have to like really take a look at. It's just the geography of the map and the architecture of the map. I mean, the Kings Row spot where we're going to see a Junkrat hold, if we see a Junkrat, is kind of this interesting staircase that teams have to come in a weird angle on. It's great for just launching bombs off of walls, and then the escapability that he has with the mine, and we'll see him just kind of leaving a bad situation in his wake. Also very good on Kings Row as well. So interesting to see what we'll see as composition-wise. Might even see some sniping. Taimu has single-handedly just shut teams down with his defensive sniper on Kings Row if we get to last. A lot of things to look at as we go into this map.
Yeah, defensive sniper on Kings Row is interesting. You don't really get too much value on point 1. You don't get that much value really in point 2, but point 3, the sight lines really open up, and that's where defensive sniper can do all sorts of work. So it looks like G2 is going to be on the attack first. So same thing as before. We'll get to see the G2 offense versus the IDDQD defense to start out our round on Kings Row. We are ready. I believe the team's ready. We're going to be getting in here in just a moment.
Yeah, an IDDQD defense that has looked a little more beatable today than in a while. So usually I would expect IDDQD to absolutely shut down first point here. as they've done to many teams, but G2 has shown that they're out for blood and playing really well. So nothing would surprise me at this point in this map.
Yeah, no, not at all. I mean, it could really go either way. We are getting in the game, though. This is going to be Kings Row. Map number 2, G2's trying to stay alive against IDDQD. They looked good on Dorado, but unfortunately, IDDQD just looked a little bit better. So we're going to see if G2 can turn things around here on map number 2.
Yeah, but it's kind of been I mean, just overall recap while we have time to assemble heroes. It's been a little bit of a wacky tournament. I mean, there's predictions that it didn't really go by the chalk, as a lot of our tournaments have actually gone down to our best teams just kind of moving forward. Reunited has surprised some people. G2 leveling up. IDDQD looks beatable. Mix-up not, what I thought Mix-up was, maybe, at least today. So we'll see. Maybe we'll see these more teams tomorrow. But, man, just when we think that things are getting a little more stable, a little more predictable, everything gets kind of shaken up on its head again. So it's been really fun
I'm curious to see the new Reunite roster now against IDDQD with because they looked much stronger beating Flat Earth.
Yeah,
and Flat Earth has given IDDQD some close fights, so we'll see how all that shakes out. Of course, you don't really have a greater than B greater than C thing. There's a lot of variability in matchups in real sports and esports alike. But taking a look at the defense of IDDQD as it sets up here, we got Internet Hulk on the Symmetra, Mendo on the McCree, Pluppy on the Junkrat will almost certainly be taking up the Junk Alley, as it were. Coco on Reinhardt, Chipsogen on the Zenyatta, and Nabirjabup rounding things out on Lucio.
Yeah, offensively, it looks like we're going to see something at least a little different. We're not going to see double orb out of it. It looks like Burks is going to be at home on his Mercy. Likely will be playing Zenyatta. Numlocked on the offensive Junkrat. Offensive Widowmaker coming up from Taimu. Nox on Pharah and Skipjack on Reinhardt.
Indeed. So, taking a look at things here as both teams about to meet each other. We see Pluppy take up his normal spot in the alley, but let's take a look at Taimu. Taimu has had really good Widow approaches here. Let's see if he does it. I'll go back to him after he's not looking at a wall. Even for a spectator, it's like, wait a second. Okay, now he's looking to get some picks.
Yeah, and what we've seen time and time again is sending the Pharah and the Mercy over to this right to try to deal with Pluppy on Junkrat.
He's looking for Pluppy right now. This is almost a Counter-Strike level thing where you just like sit there and wait for someone to peek the wall and you shoot them. Op level strategies, as it were, but yeah, right now we see Taimu right now setting up, going over. Looking for those picks. Definitely has Pluppy in his sights. I do think Widow can pick Junkrat in a lot of cases here, but it's difficult. You only have a split second to actually do it, and we'll see if he's able to do it, as I think that's what G2 is waiting here before they go in.
Yeah, Pluppy also discorded too, and has been priority one as they're sending rockets over there. They're spamming
Take a look at that. The nice pick on Chips coming out from Taimu. That was a beautiful grapple into the snipe, and now he's machine gunning people down. 2 kills now for Taimu as he goes in. Has Reinhardt in his sights, but we have a tire coming out from the one and only Pluppy here. A tire bobbing, weaving, takes out 2 people, so Pluppy able to put the kibosh on that push, but here comes Burks with the res. Mercy will pay for it, but so will Pluppy as Pluppy goes down.
Yeah, Nox tried to go in alone on Pluppy, and as we've seen time again, that, it's a fight that Pluppy wins 9 out of 10 times on this map. But the resurrection did bring him back.
I'm not saying WTF. Nox apparently with a bit of technical difficulties, as we see from the chat there, but the net result was that G2 is pushed out. And I'm just going to note the margin that the stuff is brought on. Taimu, of course, very accurate. If he had taken out Pluppy earlier, and then hang on, Numlock takes out Pluppy, so now G2's going to go in on that. I'll save my theory crafting for another time as they are moving in. Nox right now does have the barrage, is looking for the McCree, starting to do damage to the McCree as he goes on. Numlock going to take out Mendo, so that's 2 kills now for the G2 side as they move forward. They still have barrage. They have offensive Transcendence. Transcendence goes down. They counter the sound barrier, and here comes the barrage gang be coming down any moment here from Nox. Barrage comes down from Nox. Taimu takes out the teleporter. Internet Hulk on Skipjack. Barrage kills nothing perhaps IDDQD might be able to push us back. We'll see.
Yes, somehow Taimu able to kill the teleporter. Must have been in a really strange spot, but the barrage was a little bit early because the Transcendence was still going off. He tried to time it perfectly and get it as the Transcendence faded, just a little early.
Taimu able to get pick on Internet Hulk here. Both teams trying to establish themselves to the point, but I think IDDQD, with the help of the teleporter, is making their way back, and they're going to reestablish. So, I mean, that's heartbreaking. That was a good push from G2. It just wasn't enough to break IDDQD's back in the point. As a result, IDDQD going to hold strong here on point A.
They have a really good window though right now. That teleporter is down and they know it was taken out. The teleporter, of course, takes longer to charge now, and Burks has a res, so they can go in here very hard.
Yep, they can. Mendo able to take out G2 Nox. Chips on Numlock. Burks with the res, gonna bring people back up. They're not immediately killed coming out of that. So still hope for G2 as they move forward here. Back to full strength. The res, however, is gone. Take a look. Time of looking for the picks. Is able to take out Internet Hulk. So Symmetra is down. Now we'll be able to get Pluppy. Pluppy being evasive, using that movement. If he'd gone Pluppy, it would have been huge. Now he's looking for Pluppy off the grapple, just machine gunning him down now. Not even going for the scope. The Bridgebot, though, taking out Numlock, Nox on the Pluppy. Pluppy finally going down. We see the defensive Earthshatter coming down from Coco. Not a whole lot of value there, as now Nox going into the back, looking for his point. Deadeye is out from Mendo. That's going to take him out. But that being said, I think G2 still might have this.
Well, window is closing, though, because the teleporter does come up. We're going to have a Riptire come out, too. I think they're going to have time to stall this out.
Yeah, they might. But you see the tire coming in, does a decent bit of damage as IDDQD. Again, it was looking really good for G2. And they just weren't able to finish it out fully. And this resilient defense of IDDQD has been something else. I mean, I think most lesser teams would have been broken by now.
Yeah, they had a huge window to G2 there when they had Internet Hulk down, they'd kill his teleporter, then they killed him again, making sure that teleporter wasn't back up. But by the time they were ready to really complete that push, the tele was back up, they were able to reinforce.
Yeah, so Mendo now doing a good job of keeping the air clear. I mean, Nox has had his hands full and then some dealing with it. Time we're right now looking for picks. We gotta imagine we're gonna see a barrage soon. Recon sight coming out for the offense here as they move forward. Can get a little bit confusing because you have these deep red silhouettes for blue players. But anyways, take a look. Nox is coming in. Barrage coming down from Nox, gets one pick so far. Drensenso is going to mitigate the rest of that. 2 kills, though, for the G2 team as they try and go in. Earthshatter coming down from Coco. Again, lead to 3 kills, so nice stuff coming up from Coco. Res comes down. I'm not sure it's going to be enough. And if G2 isn't able to get the point here, they're not going to get through this point at all as time is running out on them.
It might be enough, though, because that teleporter is down. It was used up as they're trying to reinforce here very slow.
They are trying to reinforce. They've had enough kills so far, but IDDQD still being resilient, still getting back onto the point. We see Pluppy back in the area, actually in on the flank, spamming from behind. More kills coming up from the G2 side, though. Now it's Pluppy versus the world. Will Pluppy win? No, Taimu's going to take him out. And this might be what G2 needs to extend the map, and there it is after, wow.
You know, I may talk about teleporters a lot. I put a lot of emphasis on them, but the reason they weren't able to hold that at the end there is they used all the charges they already went through, so they weren't able to reinforce like they were the first 2 times. Those reinforcements from the teleporter really saved that point for them a couple times, but finally G2 able to crack through.
Yeah, and Taimu actually staying as Widow for this next point. I'm curious if he'll switch off after a death. I mean, you don't want to go all the way back to spawn and all the rest. That's a little bit unwieldy. So we're going to see if Taimu's able to get pick here as he is the most far up on his team. Aided by Burks in support, looking for these pickoffs. Is going to activate Recon Sight, but gets taken out by Mendo. Mendo just fanning the hammer, and Burks going to go down as well. So that's 2 down now for G2. And I'll note we do have a switch up here. We do have, what's it called? We do have Internet Hulk now on Zarya, so we didn't see Zarya in the beginning. Off the Symmetra on Zarya, switching up, and we'll see what Zarya does now. So teams are favoring Zarya a little bit more after those changes.
Yeah, I like it. I think she just does add so much utility to the team, really kind of takes away from the utility from your opposing Zenyatta as well. Her ultimate also, running combination with different ultimates can absolutely wreck a team.
Yep, G2 going to push through the streets here. I think IDDQD wanting to hold a little bit further back, but they are not going to give up this next point for Reed. They know they actually only have to stall them out for a minute 40 before they get to this point to win without having to worry about the last point.
Yeah, a lot of ults up.
We do see a speed up here coming out. IDDQD there moving in. Defensive Transcendence is out. Offensive Transcendence is out. Zen going everywhere here. Pluppy, though, able to take out Taimu. And meanwhile, we have a tire coming out from Numlock that's bobbing, weaving, trying to go in. Doesn't want to blow up in the Reinhardt because the shield instead takes out Internet Hulk. So fully charged Zarya down, not the worst value. As G2 struggling to fight for their lives here. Good stuff out of Numlock, gets a pick. Resurrect up from Burks, and G2 keeping up the pressure.
Yeah, Internet Hulk almost had that shift on cooldown because that's like a really easy way to get through that tire.
Yeah. We saw a defensive sound barrier go down there, but I'm not entirely sure why. I think maybe a miscommunication. So now, defensive sound barrier is out for the Bridgebot. He's going to have to charge that from scratch, and G2 moving on, and they are going to move on to the last phase of King's Row.
Yeah, just a really impressive offense after they were able to capture that first point. They blazed through the streets, had no problems dealing with that, and now they're at the last point here with 2 minutes left, almost 3.
Yep. And Nox right now, he is in a great position to have Justice right from above. His barrage is ready. Riptire's up from Numlock. It's going to come in. I think what's going to happen here is that they're going to look for a barrage as the tire comes in. They're focused on the tire. Tire does take out the Bridgebot. Mendo, though, with 2 kills of his own. Taimu able to take out a few. And wow, look at Taimu. Taimu going off right now. 2 picks as well. And this is pretty brawly on both sides at the moment.
Yeah, they've kind of got them in a weird position, too, because they had knocks
Oh
up
my
top.
god, goodness, the headshots out of Taimu right now. Zarya trying to even crouch to, you know, just do a little bit to avoid stuff. You don't see crouching as often as you do in Overwatch, as you do in other games, but look at that, Taimu able to take out Airnet Hulk in the end.
With a melee attack.
Yeah. The nerfed melee attack, no less, only 30 damage. Taimu's still looking for the picks. We do see the defensive Earth Shatter coming out from Coco. Coco charges in to the other Reinhardt as we move forward here. And the bridge up, rushing in. Good offense coming out from the Lucio. Here comes Resurrect from Burke. So the Res have actually been pretty much on point. Taimu, though, getting Res in a bit of an awkward position. Might be getting taken out. Pluppy on Widow now. Takes out Numlocked. Mendo taking out likely. And look at the Widow play coming out from Pluppy now. Pluppy getting the picks as he gets hit in the head with a hammer. But regardless, I think that's going to work out a little bit more in favor of IDDQD as they have to hold on here for a minute 30.
Yeah, defense has stabilized. Pluppy might be coming back up as Widow now, too. Pluppy on the Widow. I mentioned that they have a lot of players on that team who can deal with the Widow. It's going to be interesting to see what they try to combo with the Graviton Surge that Internet Hawk's been holding for a while. If they try to Deadeye with it or what. They don't have the most ideal of combos unless they take out Skipjack before it happens.
Yeah, so taking a look at giving some Widow love to Pluppy here. Pluppy now on anti-Taimu duty, if nothing else. We do see, oh my goodness, the speed up Deadeye kills 3 people. Graviton Surge on the top. Pluppy with the cherry on top destroys Nox in the Graviton Surge. So G2 going to get wiped out, and now they are down to what will almost certainly be their last push.
Really cool coordination there. Didn't have to use really the ultimate at a certain point, but Coco went in, took the charge out, took his opposing number out, and Reinhardt can ruin a Deadeye.
Recon size is out, I believe, for both Widows here, so Pluppy and Taimu know exactly what the other's doing, and Taimu going to take out Pluppy. So the 6v5 in favor of G2 as they move forward here, and was almost certainly going to be their last push. Defensive Transcendence is out, though, as they push forward. Right now it is 5-4 in favor of G2 as they push in. We do have a Tyre coming out here from Numlocked. Tyre's going to look for the Zarya. It does take out the Zarya! And now G2, this is a good last push coming in. Pluppy's back up. Pluppy versus Taimu. The Widow fight is real. Who is going to win? And Pluppy takes out Taimu. So Pluppy, that's a very huge pick, and now Pluppy free to go at the top. Hey, Burks, I'll bring up Taimu. Taimu getting a second chance at life here. Take a look at Taimu's point of view. Defensive Sound Bear is out there pushing in. Both team... No, G2's not able to get on the cart to force overtime. They still had a lot of people still alive there too, Hex.
Yeah, that's a misplay. At some points, I mean, you kind of have to sack for it, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's better than the game ending, but maybe it's just where they felt they weren't able to get a good positioning in any case. But, wow. Good stuff coming up from both teams. G2 making it interesting, but they're not able to fully cap the point, and we'll see what goes from there.
I thought both Reinhardts played really well. I just really liked that play on Coco play from Coco to set up Mendo's Deadeye. Of course, Mendo's going to get all the kill feed love, but that doesn't happen unless Coco's able to get his charge in on Skipjack and remove the shield from that situation. A Reinhardt shield can completely shut down McCree's Deadeye, and just really good coordination there. They knew they had to take him out first, and then that was one of the better defensive kills and holds that they had based on just Coco's good charge.
Yep.
So IDDQD will be looking to improve on those times, or just finish the entire map. It always makes it very, very much easier for us to decide who is the winner if they just go through the entire map. But you know, that was more vulnerable than they've looked on defense for quite a while.
Yeah, definitely. So we're going to take a look as teams switch up here, see if IDDQD can beat the time and then some. But we go forward here, we're going to take a look at the defense coming out now from G2.
Uh-oh.
In 10 seconds. What's up?
Well,
I think the Hanzos are going to be happening here for IDDQD. Seems very, very likely.
I just love how this whole thing has evolved. Like, it started like one of the very first Overwatch tournaments. I think it was ESL Atlantic. We saw this Hanzo strat. It ended up taking out a Mercy, and everyone thought it was just kind of cheesy and salty and funny. And then it was kind of like, you know, people would try it, and it was kind of a joke, and no one cared. And then it took out a couple more supports. There was one map where it took out the Symmetra, which essentially changed the game wholly. You take out your Symmetra on defense with this Hanzo strat. So now teams are preparing for it. We might see if they get a notion of this to all hide behind Skipjack in the corner with that shield up, because you have to counterplay against this. If you lose someone early in a fight, even to this cheese, you're in trouble. So offense is going to look like 5 Hanzos for now. They're going to damage boost that too and hope to get a pick on these scatter shots.
Yep, so look at the defense as it rolls out here for the G2 side. We got Taimu on the McCree, Nox on the Symmetra, Skipjack on Reinhardt, likely on Lucio, Burrix on the Zenyatta, and Numlocked on Reinhardt.
Yep, and Hanzo, and Mercy on the offense. Probably stick with that throughout the whole map, I think. It's a good comp.
So, gates are open. We're gonna IDDQD now on the clock. If they cap the second last point faster, they will win, or if they complete the map, they will win. So they have some good winning conditions here in general. As they move forward, Hanzo's, of course, not getting too much work done just yet. I see Puppy on Pharah. We usually see him on Pharah on this map as he goes forward. And both teams Spore spamming it out to begin with here. Look at that, nice rocket from Puppy onto the back. Does a lot of damage. Not able to kill him just yet. Both teams struggling for that all-important first kill, which will deter aggressiveness. Haimu able to take out Coco, and that might just be the breaking point here, but the bridge up, Brant right back, taking out the defensive Reinhardt, so both teams down to Reinhardt as Skipjack goes down. And Taimu right now having to be careful. He knows he's a big target for their team, and he takes out the bridge up with some very well-placed shots.
Yeah, just
already getting Deadeye. That's a lot of damage to get Deadeye that quickly.
Yeah, but
so that being said, in comes IDDQD. Puppy with Death from above takes out Taimu. The pressure is still on. No rest for G2 just yet, as Puppy now working to add a few kills extra to his side. And Internet Hulk and Mendo getting a kill each. IDDQD now moving forward.
Telly down, but I think it's way too late.
Yeah. The teleport is coming down, but the G2 is definitely a little bit out of sorts, and IDDQD definitely going to take this first point much quicker than G2 did. I'm gonna note, they did this without a Genji in sight. This is all Pharah.
I was just gonna mention that, you know, for the people who were complaining about the Dorado being a mirror match, just take a glance at this meta right now and tell me it's stale.
Yeah, I know. It's definitely different than the Zenlada, so to speak, meta that we've seen.
They got so much momentum right now on offense. Look at all these ults up. They could get this combo, which we've seen time and time again win maps on King's Row of Graviton Surge and Barrage. You could even throw a Resurrection in there if you want to try to set it up, and you failed the first time.
Look at the offensive ults here, too, for them just moving forward. They have Graviton Surge. They have Barrage. They have everything they need. We're going to take a look at Internet Hulk here as he sets this up. The defense has 2 defensive ultimates, and Numlocked does have the Death Blossom, which he's going to be looking for in a moment, but man, I gotta say, the good Graviton Surge Barrage here could just seal the deal here for IDDQD. Taimu able to take down Mendoza 2-5 in favor. Here comes the Graviton Surge. Well, here comes a Barrage from Pluppy over the top, but the Deadeye comes out from Taimu, saying no to that. Death Blossom coming out as well, so Deadeye, Death Blossom countering the Wombo of IDDQD. Wombo counters Wombo in the end.
Just milliseconds of difference there too. I was actually about to praise Internet Hulk because he smelled it coming. He kind of saw that they were going to try to boost in the Death Blossom, and he was able to Graviton Surge and potentially try to stop that. Just a matter of seconds between who wins that fight of combos.
Yeah, Internet Hulk able to take out Taimu. Numlock takes out Pluppy. Both teams 5v5 at the moment as they move forward.
Numlock with a couple good kills on the back line.
Yeah, Numlock
takes out
2 kills there from Numlock. Numlock getting the work done on Reaper. And here comes IDDQD there, still speed boosting in. Coco charging in, takes out Skipjack. Numlock, though, takes out Mendo and Coco. So G2 holding strong in the streets phase here on King's Row. Yeah, realistically, they're going to have to hold out for at least another 3 minutes, if not a little bit more, not to lose on point 2 outright, however.
Yeah, so the defense does have to hold strong to be able to hold completely, but then even if they do, they have to hold until the map ends. We do see another switch of Nox now on 76, taking advantage of this long lane to maybe do some poke.
Definitely. So meanwhile, take a look at this. Mendo McCreepin onto Reaper. Reaper there almost takes him out. That's some cool stuff coming up from Mendo. Pluppy able to take out Numlocked after the damage Mendo did. So that's 2 kills now for the offense.
Yeah, this one they get really dangerous
as they move forward.
When Pluppy and Mendo start getting kills and going forward and being supported by their team, it's...
Oh, the Deadeye from Mendo might be sealing the deal.
They're so far forward right now. Damage boosted Pluppy with a Zarya shield on him.
There they are. That's GG. That's certainly faster from IDDQD. They are going to move on.
Right, so they're not winning on impenetrable defense anymore. They are going to take King's Row, like you were about to say, and I cut you off, I'm sorry. But they're not winning on impenetrable defense anymore, but they are kind of picking it up where they need to. So IDD can beat you in a myriad of ways they're showing, but it's been closer than we've seen a lot of teams play them.
Well, no, G2 made this really close, and they did with a variety of team comps. So honestly, it was really good stuff coming from G2. We're going to see the victory truck, as it were, push forward And IDDQD on taking Kings Row, given that they took map 1 as well, they will be moving on to our grand finals to face Reunited. IDDQD versus Reunited, of course. That's a finals we've seen many a time. We weren't sure if Reunited was going to get back there or not, but Reunited, aided by the addition of Cruiser roster, looked really strong against Flat Earth. So we get to see if you can have a classic finals matchup, we're going to see one.
Yeah, we're almost weren't certain we were going to see IDDQD make the finals, really. I mean, this is how good G2 looked today. And G2, of course, just still auditioning players on a trial basis. The official members have the G2 in their name.
Yep.
Yeah, that was just the chaos at the point there. So many ults went off. It was just a matter of second. Like, if one ult goes off a second before the other, it's a completely different fight.
So, IDDQD, as mentioned, moving on to our grand finals. Can't wait to see what we see from both IDDQD and Reunited. And honestly, I think Reunited, they're really sold in on the double orb comp. I think we're going to see a lot more of that from them. Double orb, even with a tracer on top of it. So, yeah, cool stuff coming out in general.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a great tournament today. I mean, IDDQD moving on is not a surprise. Reunited moving on is not. But the way everything happened to get these two teams to the finals has been a little more interesting, and just seeing kind of the metas evolve and everything change back and forth has been crazy today. Of course, if you still want to get on the action, you can go to matcherino.com. You can throw in your $1 for free using code GGEU3. If you feel like throwing money into the prize pool on top of that, that is your prerogative. If you want to save that money to buy some more gamer gear from Rocket, like keyboards or mouse, you can do that. If you want a nice chair to sit in from DX Racer, you can do that. Also, if you would like to purchase games, go to G2A, but you don't have to purchase them because you can hit giveaway in chat, and that will show you how you can sign up for our giveaway. We're giving away a copy of Overwatch today and tomorrow, because tomorrow we have NA tournament action. We might see some of these teams in there tomorrow as well, but we still have to decide our winner for today in the Grand Finals, EP.
Yeah, and again, even though all the smart money would be on IDDQD here, I think Reunited has come in and look much stronger than they have in weeks, so we'll just see what happens. That being said, this is the GosuGamers Overwatch Weekly EU Cup. We're going to be taking a short break, and when we come back, the grand finals will commence. Stay tuned.